Hey, everybody, it's me, Dave Schrader from the Paranormal 60, Ghosts of Devil's Perch, and the Holzer Files. And for some reason, you're tuned in to the Paranomaly Zone.
A ghostly apparition in the dark of night.
Mike, we spent the night in a haunted house.
Extremely haunted, wasn't it? I don't know if it was by spirits or I don't know. I don't know what else it was.
Well, I threw that out there because I was curious about how you would react, and you paused.
Yeah.
You were waiting for a little bit. Is that somehow hinting at your feelings of our evening at a haunted house, or is there something more to that hesitation?
Well, it could be slightly indicative of the F.
Listen to you
portfolio.
throwing out the big words.
Yeah. I
don't call them encyclopedia Carbno for nothing.
Pulled those out of the rusty bank in my brain.
Or I guess you'd be dictionary Carbno if you're pulling out the big words. Yeah. Not encyclopedia Carbno.
Right. Yeah.
I
don't have knowledge.
That was like an old cartoon character or book series, was Encyclopedia Brown. You remember that guy? Not so much.
Not so much. If it was something that was big when you were a little kid, I was probably
no.
Too busy,
I couldn't stand it. I never once gave it two thoughts, but I know it was a thing. Encyclopedia Brown. So I guess it is what it is. Well, Mike, you know what? We're on a damn deadline. What are you pointing at? You're already looking confused.
Well, how am I coming across on the camera there?
No, I see what you're talking about. You're jerky.
Yeah, I know.
You got like a.
I move a little bit in my body. It's like it just jumps ahead.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm going to have to get used to that.
I'm having little macro time jumps or something. Look at that. I can't handle this.
Yeah, that's interesting, Mike.
I hope it doesn't keep doing this.
Well, it probably will. So you'll have to get used to it.
No, I'm going to have to sit really still.
Yeah, so it's like even the most minuscule movement, like you said. Okay. Oh, yeah, there it is. I see what you're saying.
I feel like Max Headroom, for crying out loud.
That's exactly what it looks like. Yeah. But you know what? Hey, it's not a video episode. It's just audio, and I am not going to tempt or insult the podcasting gods because they have hated us.
I know,
for a couple weeks straight now, and I don't know. I don't want to tempt their. I don't want to.
Well.
I don't want their wrath thrust upon us. Yet again.
I'm feeling a little bit of their ill temper towards us because this turkey is really.
And you can't stop moving either.
Because I'm trying to make sure if it's going or not. I just I'm waiting for that time I move and it doesn't do it.
I get you. I understand. I understand.
I'll deal with it.
Are you sure?
Yes, absolutely.
Because we're only about 3 hours late tonight, so we should probably just forge forth if you can handle it.
Yeah, before I jump right out of the screen.
Yeah, exactly. But believe it or not, if you are tuning in and you are new to the program, this is the Paranormally Zone, your weekly dose of all things hell, you guessed it, paranormal, strange, boring, and mysterious. My name is Patrick Koffenberg. Mike gives me the little kind of, why do you have to throw that boring in out of there? But
Well,
it is what it is.
yeah, you're always so self defecating or something like that.
It definitely self-defecating. Yeah, absolutely. But my name is Patrick Hoffberg, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host with the ghosts, the paranormal poster boy, the extremely loquacious and jittery, apparently,
Yeah.
Mr. Mike Carbonell. Mike, it is good to see you, man. It feels like I haven't seen you for like 3 or 4 hours, and
I know.
that's because we returned today from our overnight at an allegedly haunted house in Boyd, Minnesota. It was a very interesting, fun, cool night and overnight at the Boyd House, and we're going to talk all about it. And we'll give you our final thoughts before we wrap up the show.
Yeah.
You know, kind of yay or nay, haunted yay or nay, and we'll leave it at that. It was an experience. It was an experience for sure. So I'm looking forward to maybe checking it out again. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, it's a distinct possibility.
Yeah, very. Absolutely. But again, to save time, and I hope it doesn't seem like we're trying to run through stuff, but we are running a little bit late. We need to get some content out for our millions and millions. I
thought our minions and minions.
Our millions of minions.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. No. And I do want to give a shout out to that YouTube listener who gave us the kind comment and review about how boring we were, and so I want to give him a shout out. So thank you, sir.
What was that? Did I hear about this one? Or
Oh yeah. I told you about it.
I must have forgotten.
Yeah, there was the one where he was, he commented about 15 minutes in, and all it was like 2 old guys basically hamming it up, and then he finalized it with saying, "Boring as heck," and it's like, okay, cool, man.
Hey,
cool,
we
man.
are not for everybody, that's for sure.
Well, that's obvious.
I mean,
that has been made crystal clear to me
over the
for
years.
about 12 years now. So that's fine.
Yeah.
But I also did call you Mike Loquacious in my description.
Loquacious.
Yeah. So you kind of showed off that loquacious skill by using the word indicative earlier.
Yes.
So
I did. I remember that.
You're not verbose. You are loquacious.
Okay. Right. Yes. I would never be verbose. I don't even like the word. I don't like it.
And I really think it's an awesome, apt description. I feel like I am talking to Max Headroom. Yeah. Half of our listeners are going like, who the hell is Max Headroom?
Look into the way back in the banks of the 80s.
Yeah, no kidding. My gosh. 80s pop culture. Well, Mike, without any further ado, yes, we did make a jaunt down to the allegedly haunted Boyd House in, strangely enough, the Minnesota city town known as Boyd, Minnesota.
Village, more like. Not even a township, really.
It had a tub thumping bar going all night. That's for sure.
Boy, yeah, they didn't close the doors down, did they?
They did not. But before we dive into our quick recap of our evening there, I do want to open up, Mike, with a quick question for you for our Ghost Gab segment.
Ghost Gab.
We attempted this last week before everything went to hell, and see if this goes a little further this time. Okay?
Yes.
It's kind of a thought-provoking question. I posted this out on the old Twit a few weeks ago, or no, a few days ago, whatever it was. I don't even remember. Or X, whatever the hell you want to call it.
I must have missed it.
It was a quote from a very smart man. I don't remember his name because, like I said, it was a hell of a long time ago.
Okay.
I believe he was a theoretical physicist, but he said, and I quote, and I'm actually going to pull up said quote that I posted on our page a mere, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, whatever the hell it was. I shall tell you the exact date. March 12th. So when was that? Yeah, 17 days ago.
Okay.
There you go. Anyways, Mike, the quote is as such: souls never die because they were never born. They have always been here.
Mhm.
What do you think about that?
I do.
What vibes do you buy that? Do you like that? I loved it. I mean, it was obvious I loved it because I retweeted the damn thing, or I shared it, I should say.
Right.
And I wanted to give you, I want to get your organic thoughts on such a suggestion. You know, souls never die because they were never born. They have always been here.
It's like the energy. It's the ever existing energy.
Mhm.
You know, it's always been here. It's always been, and always shall come around again.
Are they? Do you think of it as individually intelligent energy? You know what I mean? Like made up of, not just like a mass intelligence, so to speak, but we're talking about individuality at the same time.
So, like,
Um,
is it a beehive mentality, or
ooh,
is it a singular? Yes, I
yeah,
think.
that's kind of I love both potential realities for sure.
Mhm.
You know, but it opens up such a beehive, so to speak, such can of worms, Mike, the proverbial can of worms of any which way the conversation can go or any which way your thoughts can go. Like if souls, what we describe as souls or believe to be souls, you know, or label as souls, are eternal. They are always here before and after us. Does that kind of lend credence to the theory that certain human vessels, these physical vessels, might perhaps share the same soul throughout, you know, universal time? You know,
Mhm.
do our bodies, do they? I don't. They don't. They don't inhabit the soul. The soul inhabits these physical vessels. Is it potentially a reality that different physical vessels, like you or me, could at one point share the same soul, since the soul is and always will be?
Hmm.
A little wacky, a little deep, but hey, I want to go that
It's
way.
very deep. I mean, it's so deep. It's dark. I
And
mean,
scary
holy,
and frightening. It's like I don't like it, you know?
sharing a soul between two physical beings. Is that what you said? Or am I?
Yeah.
Wow.
I
Well,
what,
could that be? Could
oh,
that
yeah,
be?
exactly. Sorry.
Could that be? What would possibly be described as, or how we talk of a soulmate? It's like two
Potentially,
physical
potentially.
beings. You know,
Hmm.
but then soulmate is like, well, it could be the two souls coming together. No, wait, you're talking about, man.
It's see,
See,
I
you're
love it.
making my head
I
spin.
can see your
Bum, bum,
mind
bum, bum, bum.
working. No, I can see your mind working because
You can see my
it's
mind
kind of
burning.
it's thought provoking.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Let me get a Q-tip. It's coming out my freaking ear.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can see
No,
steam coming out of one ear and like I don't know some sort of mucus coming
it's
out of your left ear.
some kind of
I don't
a
know.
pussy, pinky
Okay,
toned mass, gelatinous.
this the same color as the Mexican food you ate yesterday.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, we'll talk about that, won't
Okay.
we? But anyway,
Without naming names or
yeah.
anything. But, I don't know. It's something to ponder. I love
Mm.
the idea of, again, and we've touched on this several times, to the point of perhaps it being redundant and dare I say boring to longtime listeners. But
We are
the
known for
idea is
our
that
redundancy.
It would absolutely, for sure, you know. But you know, the idea of just souls are there. They're always there. They are eternal. They are before us. They are after us, and these physical vessels simply kind of swim through these souls, you know, and we disappear. The body disappears, but those souls still. I mean,
Yeah.
they're there,
The energy
obviously.
that never dies. It just
Yeah,
continues on.
and I like to think of it though as an intelligent
Oh,
energy.
absolutely. Because it would each time it was used or whatever you want to, however you want to put it, it gains that knowledge and its essence of who we are
Yeah,
physically, and it just keeps collecting and gaining and right,
I like
maybe
that.
possibly raising its vibration to a higher level where kind of
Oh
start
man.
all over, but in the next realm that might be beyond where we
Hmm.
wish to go.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That just
Mm.
pops so many more questions in my mind, but we don't have time to dive into these thoughts. So I love what you just suggested, though, Mike. I love that very, very much. I mean, it's not necessarily anything ghostly, so to speak, or you know,
Well,
paranormal, but it is. It's. I mean, yeah, I guess I would label it
sure.
paranormal.
I
You know,
mean,
we're talking about souls.
it's something that is that hasn't been fit into the category of normal
Hmm.
or what normal is supposed to be.
Yeah. What is normal, right? I mean,
It
come on.
sure as hell isn't me.
That's not me. Yeah, it's not us.
Ah,
It's not
darn it.
us. So
Okay.
I know. I get you.
Ah,
Oh, yeah. Sorry. God dang it. Sorry. I was making sure the soundboard worked because this wasn't working earlier. Oh, there it did.
and that sucks.
Sorry. No,
Hmm.
are you not hearing it? It comes through. Are you not hearing this, Christopher Walken?
I don't
Oh,
know.
okay. It sounds like it's working good. All right, Mike. Uh, yeah, we spent the night at an allegedly haunted house, the Boyd House, Mike. It was a great road.
Boyd House.
Yeah, it was a great road trip. It's always good seeing you. Smooth ride, smooth sailing to and from
Yeah.
the Boyd House. Where do we start?
Man,
Where do we start? By the way, I do have to wrap up the show a really a fitting mom segment, moments of the macabre.
is it
So
verbose?
that doesn't fit, but I could
know.
make it verbose.
I know.
I could make it
I
verbose.
was just waiting to throw that word in somewhere. I needed to use it, so go ahead.
That's Mike's new tattoo. He's going to get the word verbose splattered across his rib cage.
Yeah, but the tattoo artist will get it wrong, and it'll be like Vebrose or
Vermont.
something.
Exactly.
Anyway,
All right, Mike. We've already touched base on the background and the history of the haunted Boyd House. Longtime listeners are hopefully familiar with that if they have tuned in within the last month or so, both here and on the Patreon page. Which, by the way, we will be adding more and more footage and audio stuff from our investigation. I'm doing that in air quotes. I don't know why, but from our night at the Boyd House. I haven't gone over any of the audio yet, Mike.
and I haven't
I
gotten over any
watched
video that I have or anything yet.
the 16-minute, almost 20-minute actually, night vision camera footage of the Estes method that was the first thing we did when we got there.
That was weird.
And it was kind of interesting. Yeah, a lot of your reactions were really intriguing, and some of the final comments actually were they were head scratching a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't hear me at all, and when I was saying like, okay, we're going to wrap up now, I'm sitting there talking to whomever may be listening, and you immediately go, wait. After I said we're going to wrap up now, you say wait, and then you say, I love you. And then I stand up and you say leaving. And I was like, yeah, we're leaving now. We're stopping this message. I mean, there were quite a few little kind of unique
I gotta
responses that were seemingly fitting to what I was asking, and it was fairly intriguing.
I have a confession to make about that part
Yeah.
specifically.
Okay.
I did hear what you were saying, and
You did. Okay.
but I figured that it was my way of being able to slip in that to be able to tell you that I love you, but it was done through
Okay.
the Estes
The ruse.
the
Mike just had to somehow tell me. He's like, this was been a plan in the making for Mike. He's like, I gotta let my little buddy know somehow that I love him so. Oh, I got it. The Estes method.
I'm
No,
gonna start
so
calling
I
you
get
little
you.
buddy on our little escapades, and
Yes.
I'm gonna pull my skelly off and hit you on top
There
of
you
the
go.
head with
Start
it.
smacking me on the head. Yeah. Just don't call me Gilligan.
Yeah, no
Just
kidding.
don't do that. So, but I know you were joking there. But it was pretty intriguing.
It
Some
was.
things lined up. So I'll be posting videos like that, and we have a lot of other cool video footage, a lot of audio I need to go through. So hopefully, something was captured.
Yeah,
Hopeful when we were there. As far as personal experiences, Mike, we'll just dive right into it. Your truthful, I don't want to say reaction, and I overuse the word vibe quite a bit. So I'll just say your thoughts on what we experienced last night. I know that you had a couple personal intriguing things that may or may not be anything paranormal in nature.
Right.
But we're going to be upfront and say that no, nothing extraordinary happened to us personally. Okay. So if you're tuning in hoping to hear that, oh my God, we saw an apparition or Patrick got slapped in the face. No, it didn't happen. And you can tune out right now if you so choose. But I encourage you to listen through the entire episode if you can make it.
Patrick, you don't want to invite people to leave. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I mean,
yeah, that's probably bad podcast etiquette.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't said in a mean way, but you could have just as well said, "Get the hell off."
That's true.
Don't listen to the show anymore. If you
that's true. Okay. Well, I just want to be anything but boring. Okay.
Oh, you're far from not boring. I tell you that.
Whiny, nasally, and all the good stuff. Okay, I gotta get off that. Oh, I'm sorry, everybody. Anyway, Christopher Walken, is there anything I can do to better myself as a podcast host?
I don't know.
I didn't think so either. Mike, your thoughts on what you experienced and felt last night at the Boyd house?
Well, when we first got there and we went into the kitchen, which, we had to go in the back door, so the kitchen was our first room, and I got that really tingly feeling, like really bad. Remember that?
You did.
Yeah,
absolutely. You did. Yes.
Started like on my head and just went down into my shoulders, and just it was crazy, and it lasted for a couple of minutes.
That's right, and we did immediately do a quick EVP session, and I was filming you and I when we first arrived there, so we could document you specifically talking about that.
Yeah, I know.
So when you say I know there's not. I don't want to overthink it here, but when you say tingly, are you talking about like the feeling of like your hand goes numb and the blood starts rushing back into it? That type of tingly feeling, or something totally different?
Yeah, a lot like that, but it's like flowing over on the outside, but it tingles like that. And I know I'm not.
Is it like
I know I'm not really neurologically sound, so who knows what it if it was something really personal.
Sure.
But,
sure, but it's kind of coincidental the moment you walked in the house,
and it was so. I mean, it hit, and it was strong, and I think I even had to sit down because it was weird.
And I am going to profess my ignorance right now because I enjoy doing that a lot on the podcast.
You have no choice.
And it has nothing to do with the paranormal, but I didn't know that, Mike. When you said, we entered in the back door, and so the first room we entered was the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that was a common way that houses during that time were designed.
Oh, sure.
But then it makes sense because I thought about immediately the house that I grew up in, not the farmhouse that my dad built, but the house that he grew up in, that we eventually moved back into. It was the same way.
Yeah.
The front porch, which was facing the main road, was never used. Like our quote unquote main entry was the back door,
Right.
which went straight into the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. Sorry, a little side tangent. I didn't know that that was a common thing, and I apologize for boring everybody who knew it was a common thing.
Well, when I was a very, very little kid growing up, the neighborhood was just all old houses, and the ones that I had been in, every one of them, you go in the back door, you're right there, and a lot of
That's
times,
interesting.
a lot of times, you go in the back door, you can either go like up a couple of steps up into the kitchen, or there's the basement stairs there. Stuff like that was pretty common.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, not to bore everybody, and I am using that word over and over again to prove an annoying point, and I apologize. But yeah, in our house,
Is a very,
first room,
very, very fine.
the first room was the kitchen, and right connected there, down the door to the basement, right there through the kitchen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, interesting, intriguing. So you got those tingly feelings, Mike, the tingly sensation. We basically got to work right away. We set up, we pulled out all the equipment, we started making sure everything was charged, and so on and so forth. And then we decided to, and we're not going to name names or say any reasons why, but we had plans to eat at a particular place. Those plans changed.
Yeah. I don't. It gave me the feeling, and I think I speak for you as well, that people that are in town there, which are 147 people in this township.
144. That's what
right.
it said. Yeah.
So they know when you're in town, and when one person knows there's somebody different in town, everybody knows.
And I think it's funny as hell too, because you pointed out the one thing that I did that was a surefire sign to all of the town folk that we were out of towners. You said, well, damn it, you just used your turn signal. That's a giveaway right there.
There's a place where you'd never see a stop sign, a yield sign, or
right.
a pedestrian crossing, and all the roads are streets are dirt. So,
and I still used the turn signal.
Oh yeah.
Click,
and
click, click.
As soon as I heard that click, I was like, oh shit. Because there's
damn it.
There's that guy in some family or whatever in that backyard.
Oh yeah.
As we were turning,
and they all turned around and stared at us, and it was just like, yes.
Look at that
weird
need blinker in town, that idiot.
Hey now.
Anyway. But
wonderful people of Boyd, Minnesota.
Yeah, it was, well, but when we were
we didn't interact with, but I assume they were wonderful.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, but we were going to go eat at the bar, right?
Yes, yeah.
And then driving by there, like you were going to find a parking spot, but the little gaggle that was out the door there having their cigarettes.
Yep.
They looked at us like
I didn't like it.
Keep driving,
and neither did you. Yes. So we did.
Yeah. I think one of them actually had a pitchfork.
Maybe.
Swear to God. I think I saw an axe handle laying in the street. But anyway.
You could very well be onto something. So long story short, we added an extra hour. We didn't get back till about an hour and 15 minutes, because we drove 30 minutes to find a place to eat, and then we came back, and the investigation was on. And like I said, we started with the Estes method. The lights were going down in Georgia, so to speak. Another old ass reference right there. The sun was going down, Mike.
It was.
Lights went off in the house, and we went at it. And again, that sounded great, didn't it? That sounded awesome.
Patrick.
Wait.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
No.
Do not.
Do not.
What are you talking about? What? What are you so concerned about right now? I want to know what you're
putting on
concerned about.
That darn that.
What? I want you to say it.
No.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
okay.
Uh-huh.
See?
Uh-huh.
All right. You got to put that disclaimer on this episode now. Dang it.
Okay. All right.
All right.
And then when it was pitch black, then finally.
Anyway.
I'm kidding. We're kidding. Good golly, Miss Molly. Yes.
There you go.
So, yeah, that did sound bad. The lights went out and we went at it.
But I had a flashlight.
Yeah. So I'm not going to recall this in perfect order, but we hit up the entire house. We were in the basement. We went upstairs. A beautiful house. I mean, I love the architecture, the layout. Those steps were cool as hell.
Very Victorian.
Very Victorian. Narrow, obviously, steep. You
should have seen me trying to get up and down them.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I know. But you make. You're a soldier, man. You did it, and it was great.
Yeah.
We made it up into the attic. We had a little dowsing rod session up in the attic, which is like that 20-minute video I need to get from you somehow.
Yes,
I need to get that from you.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of intriguing as well. So we got a little bit, as far as I know, seemed like they were responding to some of what we were asking. The rods, what I'm talking about. And I was holding them at first. I have never done that before with like actual dowsing rods. I don't think I've ever done it before in an investigation, period. I really don't.
Yeah.
We've kind of dinked around with them at your place with like curtain rods,
Yeah, curtain rods.
Yeah, and it's like,
curtain rods.
Well, we went at it too when the lights went out. So what else am I going to say? God damn it! I'm just putting my foot in my mouth over and over. I know.
Just don't say the P word.
I won't.
Okay.
I will not.
So, Mama.
Right.
Good Lord. Anyway.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool up in the attic. Got some seemingly interesting responses from the dowsing rods. Maybe, potentially, I don't know. I mean, people out there listening might think that dowsing rods are an absolute joke. Hey, more power to them. Right. We're open to using and trying and experimenting with any paranormal equipment that we may have access to,
or think may be fun.
Yeah, exactly. We did several EVP sessions throughout the night, and that's the stuff that I'm really intrigued to go through.
Right.
There have been several reports of people who have stayed there at the Boyd House of capturing like children giggling, like children running up and down the hallways, up and down the steps, voices, people claiming that they feel like someone is talking right into their ear, whispering into their ears. Lots of really intriguing claims. Now, we didn't experience anything like that firsthand. Not to say it's not on tape somewhere. Right. On digital, I should say. I'm looking back. Mike, feel free to jump in at any time about what jumps out to you during our stay there. It was interesting to me. Just so the listeners know, by the way, there were two bathrooms.
Right.
One on the top floor, and one in the basement.
A very old bathroom upstairs.
Yeah, the basement seemed to look like it had been they've been working on it, right. Kind of redoing some stuff, updating some equipment. Like the furnace looked fairly new. I think it was like 2019, and stuff was being refurbished a little bit. So throughout the night, when nature calls, I went downstairs all the time, and you went upstairs. Yeah. You kept on saying you're like, why are you going downstairs? I don't want to go down there. You had a feeling about the basement for some reason.
Yeah, it was weird. I don't know. I don't know.
And you have no explanation for it. You just didn't like it.
Yeah, it just I don't even know if it was a vibe that I got. It was just I don't know. It's just a weird thing. It was just there in my head that I preferred to go upstairs, which was weird because the stairs going upstairs were a lot worse than going down.
Oh, they were exactly. And for your, I mean,
Yeah.
for Mike and you and your your physical condition at sometimes, it would have been so much easier for you to go downstairs.
Yeah, and then plus you get up to the top of the stairs, or as you're climbing the stairs and you're getting level with the floor, that you
Yeah.
know, you see right into that room where that freaking doll is sitting on the floor.
Dolls.
Oh,
Yeah, I
man.
know. They sure do have the layout.
They do. It's really cool.
They're adding to the vibe for sure, the eerie vibe. And they also had like equipment laid out that we never used. We didn't even think about grabbing the stuff they had there.
We pretty much had what they, had to offer.
Well, right.
So I think that's,
Mike, you never used your balls.
I know.
We never got the balls out.
Cat balls. Yeah.
Never got the cat balls. We never got around to the parabolic dish. We didn't get around to. So there was something else. Oh, I never used the thermal. I never pulled out the damn thermal again. I mean, what the hell?
Well, you set it out when we were, prepping the stuff.
But man, these nights, they go by so fast. Like before you know it, it was like 3:30 in the morning, and we're like, we need to try and get some sleep.
Well, did you notice that there was that point where, we were getting to that last planned thing that we were going to try?
Yeah.
And then but before we got to it, I just sat down in that,
you did.
in that recliner. And I turned on the TV and I leave it to Beavers on. I think I'm done.
You're done. Yeah.
Like, no, you cannot. So
no. I mean, I get. I get it.
I'm not whining or anything. It's just part of the events.
Yeah, but we did quite a bit, and my mind is racing right now. You had a one personal experience where you thought you heard something, Mike. Do you recall that, and would you care to share that?
Well, the first time I thought I heard something. Well, this one I know I heard. I was up in the bathroom upstairs, and like I was saying, this is after walking by these bedrooms that are set up, each one with creepy stuff. Get into
creepy dolls.
Yeah.
Yes,
and at the end of the hallway, there's this square, short kind of door. And it's got a knocker on it that is actually the face of Eddie from Iron Maiden.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was a knocker, and and it was also one of those hook latches of
Yep.
So after I was done in the bathroom, I
did you peek into that little room, by the way, because there was more little dolls set up in there.
I thought you said, "Did you peek in there?" And
yes, Mike, did you piddle in that room?
Did you go potty? Oh, did you go potty? Anyway, no, I did.
Okay, sorry, I interrupted.
I did not look in there. But I remember.
Yeah, it was another little tiny little. Gosh, I'd say 4x6 room maybe.
Right.
And it was all just a bunch of little creepy dolls and all that stuff sitting up in there too.
I remember seeing it a couple of times in some of the videos that I was watching about the house.
Yeah.
Like a small storage room or something. I don't know.
Kind of, yeah.
But yeah. But anyway.
So, but you thought you didn't hear you didn't know if it was a knocker or the little, the hook latch.
Right. When I opened the door and I was just going to take a step to come out, and like when you step out of the bathroom, that door is like right there to your left.
Yes.
Yes. And as I, was taking that step and I was going to, corner around the door there, I hear something on the door like a kind of noise, and I kept on walking, and I did look back before turning down the stairs. Yeah, and I'm noticing, okay, there's Eddie, and then there's this locked latch and everything. And I thought, man, it sounded like it could have been one of those things, being, hit or moved or something.
Manipulated a little bit, yeah.
So Yeah, and I told you about that, but it was very distinctive. I mean, I know I heard something. It wasn't something that I thought, or even had a thought of. Well, could that have been my imagination? Because no, it was. It
Right.
was so real. But then later, when we were up there, I did check. Well, we did walk down there, and I did check, and I moved the little knocker that Eddie had,
Yeah.
and it wasn't quite right. Wasn't quite right. And then I tapped the hook a couple of times, and when it was sitting in the lock, and exact same sound. That's exactly what I heard.
Yeah.
It was just
Yep.
like as if something, whatever. When I was coming out of the door, they did that.
Yeah. That's pretty intriguing.
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
to me, that's no mistaking, because especially when I did it, and yeah, it was exactly the same thing. So
Later on in the evening when we were upstairs again, we utilized your newly purchased grid.
yeah. Oh, the
What is
laser.
that? What's the laser grid? Yeah, that was really
It's
cool.
called Medusa's Net.
I like that. That was really neat.
Yeah.
And I had the night camera, the night vision going at the same time, and then I was also filming with the cell phone, and on both the cell phone and on the night vision camera, some pretty large orb-like particles were picked up. One going straight down and two going straight up, and they were quite large. And again, I mean, orbs are such a maddening thing to me.
Yeah,
They drive me nuts. Because I've heard arguments for both ways. I've heard them like, well, if it's flying all over the place and it changes directions, that's obviously dust because it's being manipulated by any sort of wind. But if it sits there and slowly floats in the same direction, then that might be something else. And then I've heard the complete opposite.
right.
Where it's like, well, if it floats in the same direction, well, that's obviously just dust. But if it shakes all over the place, who knows what it is? So what is it? It's really hard for me to buy into orbs in the first place. But even like during the SS method, Mike, when I was watching that earlier tonight, there were some pretty intriguing large orbs. I'm doing air quotes, orbs caught on camera.
Cool.
But I also, if I recall correctly, we just turned the thermostat up a little bit right
Sure.
before we did that.
That's very true. That's a
So,
good
I mean,
point.
the vents were going, and so I mean, who knows what was being flown all over the place.
And
as far
it's
as
an old
dust
house,
goes.
and well, like the house
Yeah.
I live in, when the vents, the furnace kicks in or whatever, the dust, from this,
Yeah.
this
Oh,
old ductwork and
100%.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can do that.
And I didn't personally have any experiences. I mean, at one point I thought I felt a little like kind of dizzy, but immediately I was like, well, I think it's just the flooring. I think it's the floorboards again.
Right.
It's like that equilibrium
Yeah, and
sensation.
it was a little spongy there too.
It was, yeah, several spots, well, not several, but a few spots. The floors definitely kind of gave way a little bit. A little slope to them, a little slant, a little movement, and that's enough to throw you off. And so, who knows? Who's to say? There's an allegedly cursed painting that's in one of the rooms upstairs. That's
it's got
I found
quite a story behind it.
It has a story behind it. I encourage you to look into it if you aren't familiar with it. But Mike, you again, even if we buy into the stuff or not, long story short, there is a poem that's connected to this painting, and like it is said, if you are to read said poem from this cursed painting, well, you're not exactly you're not being wise when it comes to
Messing with the paranormal.
Thank you for saving me right there. Even if we think it's something like that is silly, Mike, we still abide by that. You abided by that because you didn't want to even look at the poem.
Right. I took a picture of the painting, and I thought, okay, that's cool. I did not take a picture of the edge where the actual poem is written
That's
all the way
right.
around
Yes.
the four edges of the canvas.
Now, just think about that for a second. Now, why is that?
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. There's something.
Is it kind of similar to why you didn't go into the basement? I mean, it's just
I don't know.
it's just like it's a gut feeling,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's a lot of it. Yeah, but then the poem, it was actually printed out and on the wall below the painting. So after I took a picture of the poem, and then I got the camera ready, I was going to take a picture of the poem, and then I thought right away, it's like, I don't want to read that. I don't even want to take a picture of it, so I didn't. I was like, I just stopped.
I
I
know.
just didn't
I
want
think,
the whole package
yeah,
to be on my phone. The painting
yeah,
and the poem.
and the poem.
You know,
Then you're like, oh God, what the hell have I done?
yeah. So,
Yeah.
and to me, nothing would have happened, but wow, there's always that little tick in the back of your brain.
Exactly that little chance.
It's that little kid again, like, those little things that you know as a kid that you
Yeah,
just don't take a chance. You don't step on that crack because you don't want to break your mom's
break your
back.
back. Yeah, or your mama's back. That's right, your mama's back.
Whatever,
Yeah.
You don't want to go kissing anybody up in a tree because you always end up having a baby and somebody pregnant.
Damn it.
Out of wedlock or something like that. No, I
That
have
explains a
nothing
lot.
against that
Yeah,
because
explains
it's
a
what it
lot.
is. So anyway, go ahead.
I'm just I'm looking back. I mean, for the sake of for lack of a better term, I should say, I don't want to say that we were disappointed by any means because we had a blast.
No, we go into there just like we did the Sally House of it's one night.
Exactly. And I mean, and these, if we are to look at, I know it's a cliche, or if we are to look at, spirits were people too type thing, type of phrase, we all change moods day to day, hour to hour sometimes, and maybe it just it wasn't there for whatever reason last night. They perhaps weren't in the mood, so to speak, to really engage with us.
Right. And so that reminds me, when you listen to your digital,
Yeah.
remember the part where, let's see, where was that?
Which room are you thinking of? Can you tell me a room?
Yeah, I'm trying to get it straight there. Anyway,
but you're talking about an EVP session.
Yes, it was up in the attic. It was, yeah. The
Yeah,
when I was
sure.
saying, like, okay, well, maybe it wasn't the attic, but that doesn't matter. I was saying, I'm sure that you get tired of so many people coming here, every weekend, or how many times during the week, and
it was the attic, Mike.
Yeah, okay, and asking the same questions over and over again. Everybody that comes
exactly.
in, everybody, all the time, same questions.
Yep.
If they can get a little cranky, I'd be,
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
100%. I get it. Like we have. I'm repeating myself. We have so much audio to go through yet, and just Mike, if we can even get like the faintest sound of like footsteps running up and down those steps, oh my gosh.
Well,
tell me about how cool that would be, right?
Fantastic.
And when you were doing, I'm sorry, I'm going to speak for you for a second. When you were doing the SS method, you were a lot of times you seemed very agitated, and you were quite often saying you were kind of cursing under your breath, and at more than one point you were shuffling and stomping your feet.
Yeah.
And then you spoke later on as to why you were doing that. Do you remember why you were doing that?
It felt like I don't know. It wasn't a tingling, but it was like a vibration, and almost like as if there were, you could feel footsteps, but it was more kind of a like a bouncy step kind of around.
Oh, interesting.
And but I could feel it like up my legs. But then again, like I said, I'm not very neurologically sound, so
Well,
could
yeah.
it have been something like that? I'm just trying to throw it out there, but it was a
So
very
when you say
interesting feeling.
when you say a bouncy step,
Yeah,
what popped in my brain was like a kid skipping,
there
like
you
maybe
go. There you go.
playing.
That's perfect. That didn't come to my mind, but
Yeah.
but yeah, that's very good. Yeah, and
Because that's, I mean, a lot of reports again are like these children seemingly are happy and they're
right,
running around playfully. And what do kids a lot of times like to do? They like to skip,
right.
you know?
And just like the example that you had upstairs with the spongy floor, I mean, if there's some
Yeah.
little kids skipping around, and they hit some spongy spots, that's gonna affect how that feels.
Spongy spots.
Yeah. Well,
Sounds like a 70s punk band
yeah,
or something.
yeah.
Where's spongy spots? We'll be here all week. And we took intermittent breaks throughout the evening, and those were some of the most. Yeah, I just had a blast on those breaks, Mike,
Yeah,
because
yeah, it was cool.
we decompressed. We took a breather. It was a beautiful night. It was silent except for the background tub thumping
Yeah,
of the happening Boyd bar.
yeah. I just pictured a lot
But
of line dancing going on. I don't.
yes, you
I
said
mean,
that last
yeah,
night.
that's because it did. I really did. But I, pictured people having a good time. So
And you did, Mike, if you recall, when we were sitting outside, you did say that you thought you saw like a white kind of flash in the
yes,
garden area.
yes. How far away would you say that edge of the garden was there from what's
From where we were sitting?
Yeah, I had
30 feet, maybe,
yeah, that
maybe
sounds
25.
at about that distance. It was like close to the ground, and it was just this bright, small, bright flash, and it was just quick, and then it was gone. But
Yeah,
it's like almost like bright, like an LED light. It wasn't, because I thought, well, was a car turning or something like that. But this
right.
was such a pinpoint of light and so extremely bright. It had to have been, to me, if it's anything paranormal, it was emitting its own light from, what I was looking at, not a reflection of any,
And it's key that you said not a reflection, because I remember asking you last night. I said, did it kind of look like, how like an animal's eye reflection if a light is shining on it? And you're like, no, it was not
I've
an
seen a
animal's
lot
eye.
of different, I've seen that a lot.
And the reason this is intriguing is because people still claim that Fred, the original, well, he wasn't the original owner, but Fred and Minnie were said to have passed away in the house, and along with two of the children passing away in the house, 4 total children from their 11, was it, or 13? I can't remember. But Fred is still claimed to have been seen kind of toiling away in his garden there.
And what's so interesting about that is you can see the remnants of this garden.
Yeah, you can.
And it's like it's all just
And you were really intrigued by that. And I don't want to keep I don't want to overemphasize this and say like, oh, this is obvious proof of the paranormal, because it isn't. But it is important and cool because you were so focused on that garden, and you were telling me sincerely, you were saying like, for some reason right now, Patrick, and it's going to sound funny when I say this, you say, I can see right now like a vision of Fred
Eckert
on his knees with his ass facing towards us, as you said that last night. Yeah. Like he's sitting there just toiling away in his garden, like down on all fours and working in it. And you said that you were like so sincere saying, I just see this right now in my mind's eye. I see that.
Yeah. It was very strong, and I was just like I was watching, not like that,
Yeah.
not like I could physically see an apparition there.
Right.
It's like that sense and third eye seeing, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so strong. And later on, when we were out on another break, I was kind of, thinking that again, and looking. I was just looking over there and getting that feeling, and the same kind of thing where he's on his hands and knees, weeding or something. I don't know, with ass to the,
Yep.
to us and everything. But this time it's like every so often, and it was kind of frequent and quick. I would almost see and get the feeling of seeing his head pop over one shoulder and then over another one, like he's looking behind him.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
So it's like, here he is, like he was the first time that I was seeing this. And then the second time, what was added is him actually looking over his shoulder, like,
That's interesting. Yeah, you didn't mention that last
no,
night,
I
so
didn't.
that's
I didn't.
interesting.
But it was cool. I mean, I loved it.
Gosh, I hate to. Oh, we have to wrap this up, Mike. We say we had no personal experiences, but then after we talk about it for like 40 minutes, it's like kind of a bunch of weird little
Right.
things.
And one real quick, and I have to say, when we
Yeah,
came in from
please.
outside one of the times, I remember I came in first, or maybe we debunked that. I thought that I heard like a man's voice out in the living room, like just kind of a quick thing where it was like, not like a word, or that I could make out a word, but like an audible, like
Damn, I don't remember that at
almost
all.
like a quick 2-syllable sound, and it was a male, and I pointed right away, and I was like, "Did you hear that?" It was like, "Did you hear that?"
Yeah,
It
right.
was like, and it was like, because there's a doorway between, from the kitchen into the living room right there, and I swear it sounded like it was in the living room and around to the left and back, and
Man, I don't remember that at
yeah,
all right now.
it was, and it was kind of, what's iffy about it for me and what's questionable is that I heard that kind of at the same time I was hearing the swishing of the door being closed when you're closing the door,
Oh,
or something like that.
okay.
And I thought, well, did something sound, some sound in that make it sound like I was hearing something, whatever.
Hearing something.
But
Yeah.
again, like the lock upstairs, or the hook, it was, to me, it was very distinctive, within that sound of hearing like the door, swishing or whatever, on the floor. It was like a very distinctive sound where I could place where it came from.
Dang, I am struggling to remember that. I don't know if you mentioned that last night or not.
No,
Maybe you
no.
did, and I just don't remember.
Yes, I did, because I turned around and I pointed and I said, "Did you hear that?"
Damn it! Oh, I don't like not being able to remember, but maybe it's on audio. Maybe we have it on audio or something.
Yeah, I don't know if we had audio. We didn't have a digital going out in the living room or anything at the time, I'm sure.
Shoot.
Hmm.
Well, that's part of it, right?
It is.
A lot of experiences, unfortunately, are done when nothing is running.
Yeah.
Nothing is there to capture it.
But we did
But again,
one more thing real quick. I know we got to go, but
yeah.
we had our own exorcist kind of event, though. And I know you're
What?
flummoxed about what I'm talking about. But okay, you remember the scene when the priest went upstairs into the bedroom and there's those flies and they're all over the place.
Oh yes, yeah, I know where you're going with this one. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
The
man,
bathroom upstairs where I just had to go was full of freaking ladybugs and dead
those
ladybugs
Asian lady
everywhere.
beetles. Yes, everywhere, filled up the tub, all over the floor. So much so that my OCD couldn't take it anymore,
Yeah.
and I actually grabbed the broom and the pan and swept all those dead bastards up
Yeah.
all over the place and flush their smelly little carcasses down the toilet.
Well, I was down there in
So,
the living room when you were up there for a long time. I was like, what? You know,
what is he doing?
And then all of a sudden I hear this.
Yeah, because I'm sweeping.
You know, I'm like, what the hell is Patrick doing? He was getting rid of our evil Asian ladybugs.
Oh man, I hate them. I hate them.
And
They're
then he
just
went outside and he stopped at the door and he threw up.
yeah. No, I sure did not.
No, you did not.
And I know you don't call dried up insect bodies carcasses. I know that, but I thought I threw out the word carcass for dramatic effect.
Well,
so
it worked.
we finally quote unquote hit the sack. Tried to get some sleep about 3:30 in the morning, and Mike had the TV blasting fairly loud, so much so that
I did not have my hearing aids with me. I forgot them at home, and to me, I couldn't hear it. I was
and
like, how can because you said you have the TV on at night when you go to bed and go to sleep, and you have it down really low, and I'm like, if this is how low you have it, you might as well have it off. But then,
the thing is, I don't have it on. Bridget goes to bed before me, and she will have the TV on,
right.
But she has her earplugs in.
Okay.
And she just has the TV on for whatever, it's just however many people do it. I totally get it. I did it. But the volume is down, and the timer shuts us off before I get in there. So anyways, no one cares about that.
No.
But we put in the movie Crossroads, and I love that 1986 classic movie.
Yes.
And I was so tired. I actually fell asleep fairly soon for like 15 minutes. And then I kept on waking up every like 20 minutes or so. And I figured it was every 20 minutes by where we were at one point of the movie.
Yeah.
I'd look at it and it's like, oh shit, God damn it. And then I finally fell asleep again. And then I woke up with this blasting, unbelievably loud singing. And I'm like, what the fuck?
I couldn't hear it.
And I'm like, I'm sorry, Mike. I did swear at me.
He was pissed.
I didn't yell.
I
did not say that.
I'm not taking you over anywhere.
All right, you're exaggerating just a little bit.
I covered my head and I was done for the rest of the night.
But I was like, I think I just said, dude, can we turn it down?
Well, yeah, that may be the words, but boy, that's not the way it sounded. I'll tell you that much.
Well, I know I dropped an F-bomb and stuff, and I know but it was a polite F-bomb.
Yeah,
but anyways,
okay. It was all,
And then we woke up eventually. I was up, I think at 6:30 or 7, and kind of just sat there. But it was an eventful, but not so eventful night. A lot of stuff to go through. I can't wait to check out the audio. Again, looking back, we did kind of have some minor, unique, little, fairly interesting experiences. And I know we're forgetting stuff. We
had nothing to yell "dude run" for or anything.
Nothing like that. No dude run. And I'm sorry to your brother Steve, who wanted me to quote have my balls up in my throat all night.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to disappoint Steve. Maybe next time, right?
Well, you sure disappointed me too. So
I'm sorry.
You're not alone,
damn
Steve.
Mike, to wrap it up real quick, we have some mom moments here, some moments of the macabre. I got a list, Mike, of botched executions.
Really? Oh, are they going to give me nightmares?
Some of these things are just awful, and I'm not going to share too many of them because they're rough.
I'm sure.
Okay,
well,
they're rough.
That's part of the show. We're rough.
A little rough. Some examples. Well, like in 1587, Mike, Mary, the Queen of Scots.
Oh, yes.
She died by beheading.
Yes.
But the thing is, Mike, and I'm keeping this very brief, her beheading took approximately 3 blows to her head. Her neck,
Yeah.
I should say.
Because the king said, use the dull axe on this one.
Oh my god! Exactly. Oh my gosh! Yikes! Yikes! Yeah, that's what it sounded like every time. Boing. Sorry. Yeah, one more time. 1650, Mike. One Anne Green.
And
She was executed. Anne Green executed via hanging. We should say attempted hanging, because Mike, she was found alive in her coffin one day after her alleged death during her hanging.
Well, I bet you she was never the
She was
same
found to
after
have
that.
she was found to have a very faint pulse, very weak breathing, and she was therefore set free
And a
after her
crushed
failed.
larynx.
Yes. Oh my God. The Countess of Salisbury, Mike, Margaret
Jeez.
Pole.
Oh, at least you didn't call me Margaret.
No. The reason I called you Mark is I have a brother named Mark,
Yes.
and also I was reading Margaret Pole.
Okay. Pole.
Countess of Salisbury, 1541. She died, Mike, by beheading of axe, or beheading by axe, I should say. But an inexperienced executioner, Mike, hacked at her. That's the word. Hacked at her.
Oof.
A grand total of 11 times.
My God.
Before finally decapitating her.
Well, I'm sure towards like number 8 or 7 or 8,
Oh
I'm
my
sure
God.
there was just kind of hanging over the edge by a thread, and then after that, it was just making the right shot. So,
this seems like something that Monty Python should have tackled back in the day, and
absolutely,
like they're just like getting bored with each hack, and just getting more and more of a.
My arms are getting tired.
And just more and more of a thud sound too of each flipping wail of the axe. So it starts off with a sh, and then another sh, and then it turns into sh.
Yeah, like more of a sinewy sound.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We're not mocking this awful death.
No. Hopefully, she didn't feeling after that, like the third hit or something. I don't know.
And then there's a story of one John Smith, Mike, in 1705. His attempted hanging, keyword attempt, he was set free, Mike, after hanging for a grand total of 15 minutes. Hanging by his neck. Then they finally decided to set the poor bastard free, saying, well, I guess you're
dang, he ain't dead.
Yeah, exactly. Boss, what we gonna do?
I ain't never seen this in the books.
Oh my gosh, Mike, have you ever heard of one? People like this. Have you ever heard of one Robert Francois Damiens?
Yeah, obviously a Frenchman.
Well, in 1757, Mike, he did eventually die by dismemberment by horses.
Oh, no. 4 horses.
But originally, his limbs could not be torn off by said horses, and so eventually they just decided to cut him off.
Talk about sinew. Jeez.
Good Lord, this poor SOB couldn't even be torn apart by horses. And so, screw this, we're hacking them.
It would have helped if they wouldn't have used those miniature hobby horse things that they potty train them in your house, for crying out loud.
Oh, my Lord.
Gotta have 6 of them on each limb.
Did you know that Charles Getter, Mike? Charles Getter, back in 1833, this sorry sap had to be hung not once, but twice.
Really?
The first hanging, he hung by over 20 minutes. Then they decided to give it a second shot the next day.
Okay. Would you like another last meal?
Good God almighty. Yeah, exactly. Good job. Good luck swallowing this one.
Yeah. Just some water. How about some cello? Some live cello. Okay.
And there's stories of botched firing squads. Jacob Charmel endured such a ordeal where he survived the first volley from the 6-person firing squad. Only, during the second volley, one of the officers' rifles misfired, and after a physician confirmed that Charmel was in fact still alive, the officer whose gun had misfired was ordered to run up to his head and just blow it off right there, point blank.
Should have just done that in the first place.
I know. It's like, oh my gosh.
No questions asked. Man.
I tell you, some of this stuff is a horrendously long list, but I wanted to touch on some of these things. Oh my God.
It's not funny.
One Henry Manns, Mike. This one, maybe we should end it on this one. Just because we're running long here. Henry Manns in 1863, Mike, he did die by hanging, but the thing is, though, the rope during said hanging slipped from his neck and actually caught around the front of his face.
Oh my God.
Causing a prolonged and agonizing execution by hanging. The rope was under his nose. Hanged to death by such an ordeal. Yeah, I'm getting the heebie-jeebies. I'm cutting that one short, but yeah,
I bet
maybe we'll talk.
Mark too. Jeez. Good
I
Lord.
would think so.
How could you die?
I could go on and on, but
that's not going to strangle you.
Broken neck.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Eventually snap the neck. On top of that, a damn rope burn. Oh my Lord, that's just so awful.
Tony. We got another rope burn. Jeez.
Oh man. Well, Mike, thank you. Man, we got it done.
We did.
It's been a long time in the making. We apologize to everybody for not getting the episode out last week, but it kind of worked out because now we are able to look back at our night at the Boyd house and share a wee bit with you.
Because there was only
and again,
to share.
well, you know what? Maybe not, man. Maybe not. Maybe there's something on the audio and video.
Big time for the audio, the video, yeah.
Yeah, and we did get not one but 2 new Patreon subscribers, and we thank both of them. Shout out to Light Soul, and I'm sorry I'm blanking on the name of. Well, it was you, Mike. It was you who signed up.
No, that's not fair. But thank you. No, yes, very much appreciated.
Thank you so much. Help spread the word. We're going to be getting a Patreon episode out shortly. We're going to do it tonight, but we're running late and we just can't. But I am going to make up for it by posting a lot of our video stuff from our night at the Boyd house. So hopefully you find that fairly interesting and entertaining. Yeah. Mike, thank you so much. It was great seeing you. I had a great time last night.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's fantastic. And when you watch these videos, watch for the funniest part of me videoing Patrick walking up the stairs.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. I know. I think so.